I have heard it said that one of the greatest gifts that we can give another human being is our undivided attention. And I think that's kind of true. It feels really good when somebody gives us their attention. Don't you agree? Today's intention is about listening, and the kind of listening that is really, really listening. Because I think most of us, when we are listening to another person, we're formulating an answer in our head, formulating our own response before we have really finished listening to what they're saying. And true listening is not doing that, not formulating a response while they're still talking, but allowing them to finish. Listening looks like noticing their tone, the pace at which they're speaking, allowing for an awkward pause, that little bit of awkward silence, and not preparing our answer before they're done. People, when we do that, people feel more seen, they feel more heard, and I think they feel more respected. I know I do, wouldn't you? And I think that most of us are guilty of this too. I know for me, I've always had this belief that I'm not good at talking, off the cuff, thinking on my feet. And truth be told, part of the reason for that is probably part of the reason I'm not good at that is because I've always told myself that I'm not good at that. And so I'm sort of, fulfilling my own prophecy kind of a thing. But maybe if another person gave me the time to think about my answer, to organize my thoughts into words, maybe that would help. I don't know. I'll have to try that. I know I carry my notes for these videos, and that's part of the reason why. When we give that to another person, it reduces misunderstandings and reduces conflict. I think it reduces conflict because it reduces misunderstanding. And we don't need to go into a conversation, even a difficult conversation, thinking we need to solve a problem or fix anything or give advice unless they have asked for that. But if we just go in with the intent to make them feel seen and heard and respected and allow for those, I think it's really hard to allow for that silence. That's probably why I keep saying that. It's really hard to just let there be silence in an awkward pause in a conversation. We don't need to say the right thing. In fact, I would argue that sometimes if we don't know what to say, then maybe the right thing to say is, I don't know what to say right now, but I'm here for you, or whatever. I think that this doesn't have to apply to a difficult conversation either. That does seem where my head is leaning. Any conversation though, even a happy one. And it scared me. I saw movement. It's chickens in the woods. But if we can notice in ourselves when we have that urge to jump in, the urge to interject before they're done talking, and put a pin in our own thought. So it'll wait a moment. Maybe they'll say something else that makes us change our mind about what we were gonna say. And putting down a distraction. I have a story about that. When I was a kid, I remember being at a restaurant with my dad. I must have been, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that. And my dad, we were at the Hyatt House Cafe or restaurant in Seattle. We used to live there. And my dad had a newspaper up. in front of his face and I was sitting across the booth from him at this restaurant. And I remember thinking that I felt like I was all alone. I was there sitting at this table by myself. It's what it felt like. And I know kids feel like that when we have our phones in our hands while they're, maybe want to chat or something. I don't remember that I was trying to get his attention. I just remember that it felt very isolating. And it doesn't have to be a child. I think any of us would feel that way when someone is in their phone in today's world, when we're standing right there, Anyway, put away the distractions and allow for those uncomfortable silences. I guess that's about all I have to say about that. But today's intention then is today I will listen to understand, not to answer. Today I will listen to understand, not to answer. And if the only thing we can do right now immediately is notice when we feel the urge to jump in right away, and try practicing that silence, that uncomfortable pause. In fact, maybe even exaggerate it until somebody's like, so are you going to say something? Anyway, today is day 27 of 30, and there's only 3 days left. And I would love to know what your biggest takeaway has been from these intentions, and or if there's one of them, or if you've had a thought or it sparked something inside of you that you would like to go deeper on. Because after the 30 days, I want to go to a weekly posting of a video. So that would make for some great content and some great discussion. So I'll be back tomorrow for day 28, and I invite you to join me. I'll see you then. Bye for now.